and welcome. This is Market Wrap. I'm Vakil. Well, consolidation continues in Indian markets, even as the Nifty tumbles by another 67 points. We've lost out the mark of 11,900, but we do have a handful of gainers here. Sun Pharma, of course, reacting to earnings, surprising even though that they have missed, or rather their earnings were below estimates. We did see an advance of around 2.7%. We've seen gains in Bharti Infratel and TCS as well, along with GAIL, and these are some of those heavyweights which are kept, well, indices in check in terms of the fall, because there certainly is a lot of weakness in Tata Steel, State Bank of India, GSW Steel, ICICI Bank, Zee Entertainment and Cipla. In the broader markets, we have one gainer for two losers in Galaxy Surfactants up 8.6%. We have Bami Lorry also advancing by 8%. Inox Wind and Prestige Estates, well, making a little bit of recovery, and then that's followed by Merck and Bliss GVS Pharma along with Sundaram Finance. Let's not forget Symphony also advanced by 5%. But PC Jeweler, this one is certainly taking a knock, especially given its futures are trading at a significant discount to the spot price. ITI, Aircon International, DCM Shriram along with Avanti Feeds all declining in trade. On that note, let me get in our market editor Neeraj Shah for his thoughts. Neeraj, what's the perspective here now?
Well, difficult to figure this one out, Agam. The last 2 days have been a bit of a pullback. Maybe the chart that we put out earlier on in the day about how the Nifty PE versus the MSCI PE, that ratio is at the highest ever. Right. Which probably shows that how expensive the Indian markets are. And maybe despite the exuberance, some bit of caution might be warranted. I would reckon maybe that is the case. And I would guess a period of consolidation after such a breakneck uptick that we've had since the exit polls have come out. Maybe this is due, and maybe, who knows, the market might just stay in this bit of a limbo until the next cue comes in, which is the credit policy about a few days from now, next Thursday to be precise. So maybe until then, a bit of a caution, maybe expiry related pressures also coming in. Tomorrow will be a big day, as you would probably tell us tomorrow too. So maybe until then. But otherwise, frankly, I mean, no other perspective per se, no other cues for the markets to do what they've done today. Yeah, well, there are certainly a lack of triggers, but Neeraj, thanks for that perspective there. And we continue to watch out for the expiry tomorrow and, of course, the credit policy next week. We did have some earnings today, and I'm going to start with Mahindra & Mahindra. Well, I would say it was slightly higher than Wall Street was working with, at least as far as the margins as well as your profitability is concerned. Don't forget that Mahindra & Mahindra will also be taking in MVML. That is, it will be merging MVML. So far we've had earnings of M&M plus MVML, and now eventually these two entities will merge and come under the fold of Mahindra & Mahindra. We've also had comments from Pawan Goenka, and he says the policies of the new government and availability of finance are the key things to watch out for as far as FY20 is concerned. And nearly 30% of tractor segment revenues now come from overseas markets, which possibly has strengthened at least the tractor portfolio when it comes to M&M. Let's not forget, when it comes to BS4 products, on that he says that they will be available in the marketplace ahead of the deadline, and except 5% tractor industry volumes growth. That is what he's expecting as far as FY20 is concerned. So not the most positive, subdued commentary coming in from tractors, but on the whole, well, he's also very constructive when it comes to the rollout for BS4. So we'll continue to keep an eye on M&M as well as several other auto companies. But on that note, let me also bring in Sharad Dubey to tell us a little more about two stocks that he's tracking today. Sharad, what's on your list?
Welcome back, Agam. The first stock I've picked up is V-Guard Industries. It came out with a really good set of numbers and beating the analyst estimates. You know, the revenues were up almost 12% to around 740 odd crore rupees. Now, if you see what the stock reaction was in the day, the stock went up as high as 230 rupees mark, and then it was up almost 2% during the day. So when you talk about the segment performances, the electrical segment rose by 21%, which is the pump and the wire business, while the consumer durable segment rose by around 15%. However, the stabilizer business marginally decreased by around 1%. Now, the main reason for the increase in the profits and the margins, you can see, is because of the recent price hikes which were taken, and also there was a higher base of other income due to promotional expenses. So we'll be chatting up with the management in a certain time, and then we'll be able to get in more details tomorrow. And the next stock I've picked up is Power Finance Corporation, which went up as high as 4% today in the day's trade. Came out with a good set of numbers and a strong operational performance was there. The stock was up almost 2.7% with a loan growth of around 13% to 3.2 lakh crores, and the net profit going up by 58% to around 6,400 odd crore rupees. The management spoke to Bloomberg Quint today itself, and they were very bullish on the aspects that the RBI will come out with a resolution on power assets, and also they stated about the 83% of the loan book is towards the government, which has no NPAs, but for the private players around 17% of loan book is there, out of which 8% is classified as standard account, while the remaining 9% is classified as an NPA account. So all in all, Agam, both the stocks which I tracked today, their earnings came out in a good set of numbers, and we can see the impact in the stocks happening.
Sure. Thank you so much for joining us and getting us to those two stocks. There is one more that I want to point out, and it's from the aviation sector and SpiceJet. As you can see, this one has seen significant weakness. It's down 5.9%. The earnings came in post-market, and despite the fact that so many of these other aviation companies have taken advantage of the absence of Jet Airways into the scene, it seems that SpiceJet has also been really under pressure, dealing with its own set of problems, which is why we've seen a weak set of earnings come through, and that's the reason why the stock has taken a knock of around 5.9%. Of course, we'll continue to track this as well as several other sectors. Specifically tomorrow, we're also going to give you more on the futures and options expiry. And on that note, it's a wrap on this edition of the Market Wrap. Lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg.